Alright, welcome back. So, you know the deal. Looks kind of familiar. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to get this bed off here. We got some cross members to replace on this one. So not much more to say. Just kind of the same thing as before, but this one, we'll see what kind of challenges it presents. Got done flipping it over. I didn't record it because whatever. So yeah, typical. This is junk. All this is junk. Hopefully the floor will be decent under here. If not, we'll patch it. Those are typical. We'll get this whole thing out. This one's done. Yep. This is the worst spot of the floor. Some real thin stuff here. No big deal. We'll get it handled. Take a quick little break here. Just got done removing the front cross member. This one is the most tedious if you are doing it, I don't want to say correctly, but you're putting it back, like the OEM did it. So I did drill out every single spot weld on this thing. So you got them, well, here, let's do this. So you got them all in that back panel like that. There's 3 on each side here. And then it welds to the floor itself. They're hard to find, but there's usually 2 just like this. And it's like on the new one, those will get welded in here and here. So, and then you got those in the back, which on there, it'll be in this channel here. And that's what I just got done drilling out. You can do this 100 different ways. Sometimes you can leave that back channel in there and just do this cut here at first, and then you can cut this one in here to fit, so that way it goes against it, and then you can stitch weld it in there. But to me, I still feel like you're inviting problems because this was bare metal, and unless you really cake it with something that's going to protect it, I feel like that'll be the first spot to rust. So that's the only reason I don't like doing it that way. So I rather go with welding everything back in like OEM. So got them here, a couple there, these guys here, Like I said, they're hard to find, but they're there. So anyways, now the next thing I'm going to do, just take my grinder or whatever whatever you may have, just clean all this stuff up. Try to clean up the rust best you can, throw some paint on it, do something, and then you can start prepping this thing to go on, which, since we're spot welding everything back on, you're gonna have to drill out all the welds that you're gonna do so you can, spot weld them, plug weld them, whatever you want to call it. And yep, it'll be good as new when we're done. And I'll take care of the front. And then these ones go much faster because there's a lot less spot welds. And until you get to the end, there's a few down there, but they're all flat, so it's usually not that bad. So anyways, we'll get back to it. All right, just a review here on how I prep things. So we're going for longevity here. So before I get this welded on, I got my plug weld holes all pre-drilled, everything cleaned up. I got paint on it, cover up the bare metal spots. It looks that way because it's actually it's like a graphite gray, so it's metallic. But anyways, and then the other thing I like to do is I have this oil-based undercoating that I spray inside the cross members before I put them on, because it's pretty hard to get to that once they're on. And then I also did the floor here, but I will end up doing the same thing for every single cross member. That way, when it's all on there, this stuff has, added layers of protection, and hopefully the customer will, keep up with it. And as far as I'm concerned, that'll be a permanent repair. But as far as when it goes to welding these on, make sure there's no contamination. Usually what I do here is, once I get everything on there, since I already got my my guide, I guess you could say, I have a drill bit that's I grind it flat, and that way when it touches this part going through the cross member plug weld hole, I kind of just work it around and I clean up all the metal there. And I seem to have good luck doing that. That way when I weld it, I get good penetration, but I still have all the layers of protection that I put on beforehand. But to each their own. So I'm going to keep going on this, and I'll bring it back once I get it all welded in, and then from then on I'll just knock these all out, and then we'll come to the finished product. There it is, first cross member in. So I got all the welds on the back side of this flange. You saw I started doing that, and then I forgot to record, but anyways, I got these all down in here, and then these down in there, and that is how that is supposed to look. And the other thing on the, I already painted over them. That's okay. Before I even removed this, you may have saw I went through real quick and made a reference mark, and that is just to see where this edge fell against this part. That way when you go to put it in, if there's any kind of variance here, make sure you get it lined up the way it was before, and that'll keep your body lines where they need to be. But that's that. So now I just gotta rinse and repeat 4 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're done. And then, well, we're done with cross members, but I do have to throw in a quick patch here. And as previous videos have shown, I don't really get too involved with it. I have the patch panels that actually fit the floor. They're Dorman part. They'll be in the description. I'll put the part number there. But anywho, all I do is basically just lay them in here. I roughly have maybe like a 1/2 inch overlap, and then all I do is stitch them in, and then I seam seal top and bottom. And beyond that, I don't think it needs anything more than that, because most people, including this customer here, they're gonna get the top side bed lined, and then usually underneath they end up getting the vehicle undercoated or something like that. So after that, as far as I'm concerned, that's good enough for probably longer than the rest of it will last. So yep. And then I got to get rid of this junk here, but yeah, so far so good. Okay, so now I got this one done. Got to get to this bad part of the floor. The rest of the floor here and over is actually good. I was just getting it cleaned up. You can see here, this bolt hole location still kind of hanging in there, but a little weird here. It's getting thin. This is junk. This is an actual crack in the metal. So that, I got it marked out what's technically bad. Over here's not cracked or anything yet, but it's very thin on its way out. A couple holes here and there. So you can see it's kind of like goofy. So you could, do patches to accommodate those exact sizes. But if you also see, I got this dotted line. Since I actually have, geez, you can't even see it, full sheet of bed floor patch panel, it makes sense and will look better in the end if I just do one big patch. That way this is all new, and it's, it'll be a nice uniform piece. It'll just look better overall than if it was something like that, or two separate, or So usually what I do here is I just take some reference marks. I already measured these two holes. They're about 22 inches. H is for heavy, so if you do like drywall, that's kind of where I'm carrying that over from. 22 heavy. And I take some, you could measure from that flange out, but I just use my level just as reference, so I know how far away it is from here. And if for some reason that didn't work out, you could get stuff from the frame of the truck and then do something like that and make sure they're square. But this is a quick way I do it, and this will work out just fine. So I'm going to get this cut out, and then it's nice because that piece is actually about an inch over that line and an inch wider than that line. So all I got to do is cut it to length and then throw it on there, and then I'll stitch it around, and that'll be it. So got that pretty much wrapped up there. The funny thing is, I was welding and I noticed it started to act a little funny. And what I come to realize is I am completely out of gas for the MIG. And what happened is this regulator was sticking, as I noticed there was a problem because my pressure, incoming pressure was down, and then tank pressure was still up. So I gave it one of these, and as soon as I hit it, it started drifting down. Well, the good thing is this old Hobart switches over to flux core. It's not really my preferred method for this, but you definitely can still do it. You just got to turn the machine way down. In my case, with the Hobart MVP 210 MVP, sorry, weld the metal like this. You want it on 1 for your voltage, and your wire speed around 15 or 20. And don't lay it in there because you'll burn right through it. So you just got to kind of like almost stitch weld it for your bead itself. You don't want to put a lot of heat into it. But if you keep an eye on that puddle, keep it glowing hot, you can kind of keep feeding it and you get very strong welds that way. The benefit to it is you really don't have to prep anything. You can just, you know, lay it in there and it'll be fine. So that is a benefit there. But anyways, I got that pretty much all stitched around. That's all it needs. It's not going to go anywhere. It's plenty strong. And like I said, at the end of it, I will seal around it, top and bottom. But right now I'm going to get ready to lay in my cross members, mark my holes where I want my plug welds, drill those out, and then, you know, I'll take care of all the pre-prep stuff, coating the inside, and then we'll get them on here and get them welded in. Everything's all finished up, got it welded in, paint on the patches and the welds, so we're all good there. Only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start throwing in that new hardware for these the bedside braces. I don't know what you call them. So I'm going to get that done, and then we're ready to put it back on. All right, well, that's it. Got her all put back together, folded down. I covered my bare spots with black paint and that patch. Customer is going to be getting the inside of the bed line, so that'll be just fine. And everything went together perfectly. Body lines line up excellent. So that's it. You know how it goes. It's just another Tuesday for me. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this quick little session of doing some cross members on a bed. Appreciate it if you hit the like button. Subscribe for more coming up with stuff like this, the F-150 and my truck out there. And other than that, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.